So what I'm going to do is do a little bit of a relaxation massage on your feet. And this is something that we call greeting the feet at the beginning of a reflexology treatment. And it really just allows you to relax a bit more and get your feet to relax. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to try and relearn my college routine that I used many years ago. I mean, you're talking 15 years ago now, but I still look at that one and find that that's the best routine that I can find. It's just I may need to stop and start a little bit and work out a few things while I'm relearning. It's very hard to do that when you haven't got people to practice on. So thank you again for allowing me to do that. So what I'm going to do first is just cleanse the feet. And I'm going to use some lavender floral water to do that. And this is just a good cleanser and toner. Just to make sure that we've got some lovely clean feet. And when you do reflexology, you do go right in between the toes. So again, just making sure that everything's clean. Got some lovely nail varnish on there. This is nice and cooling on the feet as well. Are you ticklish at all?
Not particularly. I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. But I think what happens with the relaxation part is it just allows you and your feet to relax. But at least we've got rid of all the dirt. It's always amazing how much muck you can pick up from socks and shoes and those sorts of things. Okay, so I've got my old college relaxation technique here. So we always start on the right foot. So I think what we'll do is while that one's waiting, because your feet are feeling a little bit cold, so I think what we'll do first off is just wrap that up to keep that one warm while we work on this one. So what we tend to do, actually what I'm going to do, I think, with reflexology, you can use a massage medium, but you don't want to use too much of it because obviously you'll get too much of a slippage and later on you want to really have it quite dry. Some people use cornstarch, for example. Some people use a reflexology balm, but you don't want it too oily because then you won't be able to pressure and thumb walk on some of these key areas. But while you're massaging it, it's useful to have a little bit of oil on there. So I can feel these feet are already warming up. Okay, I'm just going to give a bit of a stretch to your lower leg there. And then we've got a little bit of thumb pectressage. There we go. Yeah, it's just starting to relax. I'm just going to do what we call a spinal twist on here. this is where your spine runs. You can imagine your body together, so spine's in the middle there. So a lot of the elements that connect on zone therapy to your spine are all along this area. So just moving it like this will loosen up that whole area.
I've always found it quite fascinating how pressure points on the feet connect to other parts of the body.
I know, it is amazing. Reflexology is so interesting. One thing this also helps to do is just warm up the feet, because people do come in with very cold feet. Yours is not dissimilar. And this just really helps to warm it up, because you do want the foot a little bit warmer. Okay. Just going to give it a little bit of knuckling here as well. Yeah, that's already feeling much better.
Feels warmer.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to wrap this one up so that it stays nice and warm. And we'll just relax this foot.
Is that a particular oil? Or?
I'm using coconut oil. I find that it's not too thick. As I said, other people use things like cornstarch. It's really whatever you prefer to use. The only thing I would suggest not using is something really thick, you know, like you would on a body massage or something like that. So avoid the thicker carrier oils and just don't use too much. Okay, what was this? So effleurage the whole foot, then stretching the lower leg out. Thumb petrissage. Your toes are particularly cold, so we need to warm them up. They will get warmer as we move into the treatment. Something else I've realised with reflexology, the same with massage in a way, is you realise how weak one side is. So the person that's doing the treatment, you have to build up the strength in your left side if you're right-handed and vice versa. And I find that quite challenging because I'm quite right-handed. So I have to almost force myself, no, you're supposed to be doing it with the left hand, because your instinct is to automatically
hands,
go with the right. Okay. Right, I'm just going to switch over from the relaxation part to the treatment, but I just have to get my notes ready. And what I've decided to do is use my old college guidance notes that I wrote when I learnt the course. So this will be interesting. And I've got a couple of reference diagrams as well, just to help me if I get very stuck. I've got an interesting one here which maps out the body.
Ooh.
It's fascinating. It is.
Can I have a look?
Yeah. Ooh. Separate copy for you to have a look at. It is fascinating. And I've got a slightly more colourful version here.
Oh, wow.
Which gives you the different energy zones. Because the whole idea of reflexology is that while you're working these points, you're working along the zone of the body. And these diagrams really help to understand how that zonal therapy came about. So it is quite fascinating as somebody sat and literally mapped the body into these zonal areas.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's one of those treatments that are obviously complementary. We don't diagnose or anything like that, but anecdotally, it does seem to help people. And you can imagine that if you've got these zones, that if you're pressing on certain areas, it stimulates something in that zone to try and get your body to start healing itself. I mean, that's the principle behind it. Obviously, it's steeped in ancient history, as all or many of these holistic therapies are. So I think we've warmed up enough to actually start. Okay, so we're going to keep this one covered. Are you warm enough?
Fine.
Okay. We keep that one covered and we will uncover this one. And then I'm literally just going to follow my routine. So I do apologise if I have to keep looking at my notes, but I don't know this off by heart yet. I will do eventually, but this is why I need to practice. Okay, so we're going to start with thumb walking the big toe. To cover the head area, and then we're going to walk across the base of the big toe to cover the neck area. And then we've got a few pressure points to press, and we use the edge of the thumb for this. I've just got to double check on that first one, which is, yes, that's the pituitary and the pineal. So this is like a slightly different method. So this is a hook method. You press in and hook for the pituitary and the edge of your thumb, hook in and press for the pineal. Then we've got the sinuses. So we're going to walk up all of the remaining toes. Then we're just going to walk down the top here just to cover the teeth. do the same on the other side, so you just relax.
It's very relaxing.
It's amazing. People do feel very relaxed when you're doing this. So this is where I've got to force myself to use my left hand. So and then we're going to do the neck, which is along the base here. Then we're going to do the pressure points. So that covers the occipital, the ear, mastoid and the temple. And then we're going to hook in the pituitary as we did on the other side and hook into the pineal. Then we're going to do the sinuses. And this is a very much smaller move because obviously you've got a very small space to cover this in. I'm just going to do the teeth along the top here. Right, and then that's finished. And then we're going to start working on both of the feet together now. So we've got the lymphatics, so that's both here. So massaging those. Then we've got 2, 3 and 4, so pushing down, which is the eyes and the ears. That's just literally a push move. And then between 3 and 4, we've got the eustachian tube, which will pinch at the top for balance. And then we're doing the shoulder, which is, so down here, you might actually feel this. You left-handed? Okay. You can feel the slight crunch here. I know people always think I'm balmy, but I can actually feel the this side is needs a little bit of work on it. So interesting. So that might ease up the shoulder a bit. So if I was to massage your shoulder at the moment, I might find that that's much more tense.
See, that's why I find it fascinating.
It's amazing, I can feel that. And I didn't know you were left-handed, so it is amazing. Right, okay, and then we're going to go on to the left foot. And we're going to work on the bottom area here. This is just the area below the big toe, which is the thyroid. And then we're going to end with a slight pressure point on that thyroid there. Cover these whole thyroid points here, including the parathyroid. Okay. And then we've got, I just need to check that the esophagus is 20, so that's from the diaphragm line. Okay, So that is the left foot only, so that's this area here. Okay. Some of these areas are just on one foot and not the other. So the esophagus is here. Okay, so left only, that's fine. And then repeat 21 to 24 on the right foot. So let's do that again. So covering that thyroid area, which is this tiny area here, which needs a lot of attention. All right. Let's keep these warm. Page 1 done. Okay, so now we're going to start working on the chest, lungs and shoulders. So we'll start with the right foot so that we can just do the gallbladder there. So thumb walk up the big toe and toes 2, 3 and 4. Then 4. Right, okay. So the chest and lungs is slightly lower down. So if you think about that diagram that we had here, so you can see diaphragm line is here. So we're covering, we've moved from the top bit and then we're going to go down. And it's interesting, reflexology, you generally do that. You start at the top and then work your way down the foot and the body. That makes sense. So we're going to focus on, there's your diaphragm line there, which you can see, which is a good reference point. And we're going to work up these areas which cover the chest and the lungs. You can either do this in a thumb walk, or I've seen some people just do it with their fingers as well to cover a much wider area. So you can do it like that. So covering a wider area of the lungs. Then we're going to do the upper abdomen area. So you start underneath the big toe and go across, and this moves into the upper area of your stomach. And then we've got the gallbladder, and I am just going to check where that is. Right, the gallbladder is just on the right foot, so I'm just going to check where that is. 23, there we go. So right, so I'm just going to move to this side and do the chest and lung area. To the upper abdomen. do the liver area. Right, okay, we're going to move now to the lower abdomen area. Do that on this foot as well. We're going to just cover the heel. And then what I'm going to do is just slightly pinch what we call the sciatic line, just going up. You might feel that in your back. Right, so then thumb walk across the pelvic line there. And then we're going to start moving towards covering the spine. So we'll do one foot and then the other. So the spine, as I mentioned earlier, is all the way along here. So this is where you use both hands.
I can feel that.
Yeah. Is there any part that you can feel in particular? Was it
Lower
just
back?
Yeah. Okay, so that's round
Yeah.
that area. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's the small of the back.
Lower back. That's where you're sitting in the same position for a while. It just needs massaging a bit. So what you could decide from this is that the next time you come, you want a back massage that focuses on that lower back area. It just gives you an idea of where perhaps you need an extra bit of attention. See if it's the same on this side, actually. Yeah. And that's where you truly start to understand, I think, zonal therapy. There's lots of correlation along the zone. Just going to release that tension in the back area. Right, okay. I'm just going to press on the kidney area and then going down into the bladder area. Then we're coming down into the adrenals. And then I'm just going to stimulate the uterus here. Then I'm going to walk across this fallopian tube from the ovaries to the uterus. And then what I'm going to do is just put your feet slightly together, because I'm going to just work on the colon, and the colon is covering both feet. It goes from there through to there. Do that once more. Colon always amazes me because it covers such a huge part of the body. Right, okay, so that's allowed me to cover the basics of the routine, and then what I'm going to do now is go back and do that relaxation one again. Obviously, if we'd found anything, and I probably need a few more practice runs to be able to do that much more smoothly. So the whole purpose of today is really to get me to go through the routine, and I need a few more of those practice runs. But if I'd found anything, I would have gone back and treated those areas as well. But really, apart from that lower back and the shoulder, which we've already covered, there's nothing untoward there. And what we would do with people anyway, as I said, we don't diagnose. So we would say to them, you might want to come back and let me work on that area a bit more. But if there's anything else that is cause for concern, we always say to people, it might be worth checking various things out with your medical practitioner. But, you know, it's not down to us to provide medical advice at all. Plus, part of this is just giving you some me time and just having that extra relaxation. So your feet have really warmed up now as well. So what I'm going to do is do that massage routine again, just to completely relax you towards the end of the treatment. And this is so much easier. Your foot is so much more relaxed as well. So. Actually, some of this is sticking into my mind already, so the next time you come, we'll be able to do it much more smoothly. That's like a little lung press in there, which really helps to finish off, and then we'll do the solar plexus at the end. deep breathing with you. So if you can breathe in through your mouth and out through your nose for me. And again. Last one. Here we go.
Very
Lovely,
relaxed.
thank you.
Thank you. I shall come again.
Well, next time will be a little bit smoother. That's already really helped me to actually get some of that in my head. Now, I know we haven't worked too deeply on all of this today, but it's still worth thinking about aftercare. So keep yourself hydrated, because you never know what it might have stimulated. Even that little bit of treatment there might have stimulated something on your zones. So do be aware, you might get a little bit of a headache, but keep yourself hydrated as well, and relax. Give yourself a little bit of me time. I know that's not always easy, but it's worth it after this. Okay. Thank you for your help.
Thank you.
Okay.